So many years ago, when I arrived at the Juilliard School in 1975, one of the most dramatic experiences was to hear the Juilliard String Quartet play for the first time. And I had never heard an ensemble play with that kind of unity. The first violinist of that quartet was one of the great mentors of all time to many of us musicians, and not just string players, pianists and singers and so on. His name was Robert Mann. He remained the first violinist of the Juilliard String Quartet for over 50 years. And he had such a strong impact on so many of us and so many very, very well-known string quartets that followed the Juilliard that I thought it would be wonderful to name a series for him. So we are starting in 2021 the brand new Robert Mann Chamber Music series, and this will be on Tuesday evenings. The first one, July 6th, features our own wonderful musicians from the festival. And it features also two of the truly extraordinary masterpieces for chamber music of any kind. They're both viola quintets, which is a string quartet plus viola. The first of them is the G minor quintet of Mozart, a piece that I love so much that the slow movement of it was actually played at my wedding. And then the G major viola quintet of Johannes Brahms, his second quintet, one of the most exhilarating pieces in the entire repertoire. So that is an evening absolutely not to be missed. We then move forward to our wonderful guest conductor, David Dunsmeyer, who's been with us before. We're delighted that he can come back. His guest artist is the extraordinary pianist Stuart Goodyear. I first heard Stuart play when he was about 15 at the Curtis Institute of Music, and he was playing a Schubert piano trio with the maturity of an older artist, and I was totally struck by him. He's a good Canadian as well, and I've made music with him many, many times, and I'm delighted he's going to come and play the Saint-Saëns second piano concerto, a piece that was once referred to as starts like Bach and ends like Offenbach. And indeed, it does start in a kind of Baroque style and ends with a kind of flaunting dance. So it's a very, very entertaining, brilliant, brilliant piece. In the second half, we have one of the greatest symphonies ever written, Brahms's last symphony, the Fourth Symphony in E minor. And the program begins with a very, very interesting piece, wonderfully written piece by Jessie Montgomery, who's a New Yorker, a New York native, actually grew up on the Lower East Side, wonderful violinist, and then developed her skills as a composer after she went into her teenage years. This is a piece called Strum, originally for string quartet. She actually herself played in the Catalyst String Quartet. And it's now arranged for string orchestra, and it is really brilliant, brilliant piece. Very, very entertaining, and actually very, very beautiful as well. So Jessie's a really important composer today, and I'm delighted that we can present one of her pieces. Later then, we have an evening on July 11th, which begins with Samuel Coleridge Taylor's Novelette for String Orchestra. Coleridge Taylor was an extraordinarily gifted musician, born in around 1875. His mother was white, his father was black, and he was extraordinarily talented. He actually grew up in a little town called Croydon, Surrey, and I grew up 3 miles from there in a town called Purley, Surrey. So I always was hearing about, not that it was at the same time, of course, but I was always hearing about Coleridge Taylor's great music. And indeed, he had a marvelous career, especially for that period when we consider how difficult it was for him to be accepted in society at that time. Just an extraordinarily gifted person. The Noveletten were written at the beginning of the 1900s, and they're very, very beautiful pieces for string orchestra. Angelo Zhang Yu, great, great violinist, has won the Avery Fisher Prize. We got first prize in the Yehudi Menuhin competition many years ago. We're delighted to bring him. He's going to play the third Mozart violin concerto, an absolutely exquisite piece. And the program ends then with the final symphony of Haydn, the 104, called the London Symphony, although in fact I think all the last 12 symphonies are referred to as the London Symphonies in general because they were all written in London. But a very, very beautiful program of elegant music.